So I'm continuing to share about some verses written by Nagarjuna that are from the Chinese canon, and they're from a portion of a text that's about generosity and giving. And these verses are ones that help us to work with our afflictions, and by working with our afflictions, Nagarjuna says we can attain nirvana. So this is pretty lofty goals. But we're kind of sticking with our feet on the ground, and the verse today goes like this. By becoming aware of another's good qualities, one gets rid of an absence of consideration for others. And so these are verses that Venerable Chödrön taught on, and it was October, Sharing the Dharma Day, I'm thinking 2010 now. And they're verses that there are about 20 or so of them that I used daily for a few years, and I still use them. But now I don't keep them on my puja table, I keep them on my desktop. I'm trying to take them off the cushion now, I guess. But I found these verses very helpful. They just seem to work a little bit better for helping me to get through some afflictions in a more positive way. So with this one, it's interesting that, last time I spoke about integrity and this time consideration for others. And with integrity, we're trying to live up, it's like a self-respect, where we're trying to live up to our own values. Here is where we have a respect for other people and we consider them, their needs and their situation. And it's very nice to have looked at this for a while and then realize when I'm not having consideration for others. And then look at this verse and say, and then go like becoming aware. And that's, to me, those words are quite important, by becoming aware. So when I first worked with these verses, I realized, oh yeah, I need to become aware of the other person's good qualities. It's not like they were just like obvious to my mind in that moment. In fact, they clearly aren't. And so, when we appreciate someone's good qualities, we actually already have determined that they have good qualities, and now we're placing our mind in appreciation. So if you aren't aware of their good qualities, you're not really going to be able to appreciate them. So it's not very hard once you turn your mind there, usually. Usually you can, if you actually just do it, you can easily come up with good qualities. But then it's interesting when something very strong is going on in your mind. So, for instance, the other day, Zopa gave me permission to talk about this. She and I had a moment of tension. And then I processed that for a while afterwards, and I watched my mind go through different phases, and I didn't want to have the whole thing going on, what was going on in my mind, but it had to kind of, like any process, run its course, like a cold or something. But just watching my mind, and when I think of this verse, and I think of watching my mind of what was going on, it's like the ability to be aware of another's good qualities and have any consideration for them when you have a strong, disturbing emotion in your mind is really kind of out the window. And you can watch it slowly coming back as you get more settled down, And it makes me really think of dependent arising, because when you're really triggered and very reactive, and my mind has a very strong emotion in it, strong reaction, everything is so solid then. I'm right, she's wrong. There's no causes and conditions that brought this together. There's just right and wrong, me and you, us and them. It's just so black and white. And then as the mind kind of settles down and you watch, you're like, wow, well maybe there was something going on for her in that moment, and maybe there was something going on for me in that moment. I wonder, it's really good to explore and see, well, why do I react to this? And what are the things that are driving my behaviors? And maybe are there some things that I need, that should be addressed? And so it's just really a good process to watch how you can't become aware of another's good qualities when your afflictions are strong. And to me, that's a big teaching just about how our mind works, how ephemeral everything is. It's like, Venable's, one of her future books is Don't Believe Everything You Think. And this is just a clear, example of this, how, we can't, in a moment when our afflictions are strong, we're not aware. Even if you try to become aware, your self-centered thought goes, forget it, rah, 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 rah. You're just kind of like growling inside, and it doesn't really, the appreciation just doesn't flow. But as you keep working on it, and this is the Dharma practice, it's not like a light switch that we just turn and like, boom, I'm now completely aware and I'm completely over this. It's not like that. The practice is the kind of watching your mind, like, just like it's a process. It takes sometimes minutes, sometimes hours, sometimes days. It just goes along as it takes. But if we have the right tools and things in a proper perspective, and then it's a lot easier. So this one really works. And when you do it with small things, it's not very hard, and then you can see where your mind's challenged. And then sometimes I'll just be sitting there and I'll realize, wow, that really was an absence of consideration for another person. That's where my mind was then, and I don't, what's nice is that I don't get so upset with myself. I just decide, well, maybe I'll do this different now that I realize that, and that's really nice. Some other things that Venerable Children said about this that I think are good to know is that, all of us have different roles in the community at large, whatever that community may be. And so how we interact with others makes an impression on people. And, we really don't want, in a way, to act in a way that causes other people to lose faith. Say if you're a doctor, and you kind of come in and act real weird. I don't think your patients are going to have a lot of faith in you. If you are, in any kind of role, here we're wearing monastic robes and whatever. It doesn't matter what the situation is, but there is a consideration for others and their well-being, and we care about other people. So we want to, turn our mind to this and, contemplate and become aware of other people's good qualities. And then very naturally the mind has consideration for them. You can see it by seeing it in relief, you can see that. Because when your mind has the afflictions in it, how hard it is to have consideration for others, how hard it is to see their good qualities. And then that's just the great, like a artistic, like a satsa, it comes off in relief, or like a statue. You just see the other side. You see that, wow, when I'm aware of another person's good qualities, it's very easy to take them into consideration. It's just very natural. So, by becoming aware of another's good qualities, one gets rid of an absence of consideration for others.